How's it going, everybody? Welcome to my drive home. So I keep seeing these new kinds of water fountains everywhere. The first time I ever saw one of these things was at a government office I was working in and out of when I was back at doing military stuff. And essentially what separates it from other normal water fountains, I'll call them normal water fountains, is that it's got a second spout in the back and a counter above it for saving water bottles. It'll tell you a number of water bottles saved, and the little counter goes up every time you use that spout in the back. I'll have a picture of it here at some point in the video. I'll put a picture of one of these things in here. But I keep seeing them pop up in other places, and I keep seeing them mostly in government offices. I've seen it in libraries, national parks, that sort of thing. I'm seeing them kind of showing up all over the place. And I think it kind of blows my mind. I mean, they're not being put into new facilities. The office I was working at was going through every floor, and there were a lot of floors. It was a big building, a lot of hallways that had water fountains. They were replacing every single one of these, or they're replacing all their normal water fountains with these new water fountains, the bottle-saving eco water fountains that has a little counter on. And I just thought that was very strange, because I think, wouldn't it be more environmentally sound to just leave the water fountains that we had in there? It's not like it's that difficult to fill up a water bottle with the normal fountain. I always just kind of put it up next to the spout and tip it over a little bit and fill it up. I've never had a problem with that. So I don't know why we needed to throw the old one away, manufacture a new one with whatever, environmental footprint that takes to install, just so that we can have two spouts and an electronic counter, which I'm sure doesn't take that much electricity to run. I'm sure it's on an individual fountain by fountain basis, it's negligible. It's just a little LCD counter. But it's also something that's completely unnecessary, other than the fact that it makes us feel good about it, that it's there. It's like, oh, look, we've saved 4,000 bottles since the installation of this thing. It's like, okay, great. How many more did we save than we would have if we'd never installed this? Well, I don't think it's that many, and I imagine that, again, just by manufacturing an entire new product and trashing the old one, which worked fine. It wasn't like they were replacing it because it didn't work, and they replaced them all in the entire building. That we are just putting stuff in just to feel good about it. It's very strange. So I guess tell me what you think about this sort of thing. I just see these sorts of things popping up all over the place. Like I'm behind a car right now that says hybrid on it. It's like, okay, I don't really need to know that it's a hybrid. It can just be a hybrid. You don't need to waste the money on the little thing. All these little signs everywhere that tell us how hard we're trying and all that sort of thing. Well, you don't need to just tell everybody. I mean, it's been years since that South Park episode where the characters go to San Francisco and everyone's smelling their own farts because of how virtuous they all seem to be. Anyway, oh, you know what? Even in that same office, this is getting a little gross, so I apologize for that, but it is funny to me. There's a bathroom on a floor I worked on, and they installed a new urinal in the men's restroom, and that urinal was a flushless urinal. It had like a little gel thing at the bottom, and it was just one. So it said above this urinal there's a sign. They put just a paper sign that they had printed off, taped to the wall, and it said, "This is a new urinal that's part of our environmental initiative," something like that. Just again a smelling our own fart sort of sign. Well, honestly, being in the men's restroom and just being a paper sign hanging on a wall, it didn't take much time for that thing to start looking really, really gross. The particulates in the air started seeping into that nice bright white paper, turning it kind of a very brownish yellow, and it started crinkling. That's because it's just got a bunch of poop and pee particulates all in it. And so at some point someone did tear the sign down. So thank God, because I almost did it myself, and at some point I probably would have. But not too long, just a day or two later, someone had put the exact same sign back, reprinted, but this time it was laminated. So not only have we killed used a second sheet of paper, which comes from the tree that you killed to get the paper, but we laminated it just so we can continue to smell our own fart about this urinal that was put up. And that worked for a while. It worked longer than just the regular sign. But even a few weeks after that, maybe a month or two after that, that one started showing some signs of looking gross. And so someone eventually took it down, and they replaced it with a metal plaque that said essentially the same thing. This urinal is part of our environmental initiative, blah, blah, blah. So you had to go get a plaque made to celebrate this one urinal and this one bathroom. That's crazy. You could just install the urinal and then not tell anyone about it. Everyone sees how it works. It's not like the craziest thing in the world. It's a waterless, flushless urinal. I mean, yeah, you can't make the joke about, oh, this water sure is cold anymore with something like that, but otherwise everybody gets it. Otherwise everybody got it. And I feel like we're wasting a lot of money and time and effort on these sorts of things just to make sure that we're telling everybody how environmentally aware we all are of all these sorts of things. You know what probably happened? It would not shock me at all if just some guy in some office has to spend money to put in environmentally sound things like replacing windows in a building or something like that. Or honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if the manufacturer, especially if the fountains or the toilets, got it into someone's head that they needed that, like, got it into like a congressman or a decision maker's head that they need to install these things. And by that, I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all if there was a payoff or if these particular water fountains were manufactured in a particular district that a particular congressman was looking out for, that sort of thing. I just don't see any other reason to put them in other than, hooray, now we've wasted an old water fountain that was working fine. Anyway, I think I'm probably bitching about this quite a little bit too much as far as, bathroom stuff. But tell me what you think, if this was the greatest thing in the world that they put in these new fountains and that everyone can save their bottles despite the fact that you could have done it beforehand anyway, or just, any thoughts you have on it. And I hope you enjoyed watching all the traffic if you're someone that actually watches one of these things, which, based on the counts that I've got so far, probably isn't very many. But thanks for listening if you stuck around this long, and take care.